This sucks. Much better. Alright, so what's going on, everybody? So this YouTuber, RobWords, explains and discusses about languages and the origins of words, and I really enjoy them a lot. One of his videos is about updating the English alphabet, and I really love that one because, let's face it, the English language and its alphabet is not the greatest, especially for people who are wanting to learn English. In fact, it might be a lot harder for foreigners because, well, there's no accent marks unless there are borrowed words like French. Almost every letter has different pronunciations without showing how they should be pronounced. There's a lot of vowel sounds in English, but we only use 5 that have letters. Well, there's also 6 if you include Y. I can rant about why English is not a great language, but yeah, it's probably mostly because of its alphabet. As of now, English has 26 letters in its alphabet, but we also had letters that used to be in the alphabet but got dropped out later on too, like ash, Ethel, thorn, eth, eng, and others. We could be able to bring back some of those letters and other letters that aren't in the Latin alphabet, because English is one of the languages that uses letters from the Latin alphabet. So, for a few months ago, I came up with this set of letters. Looks confusing, right? Well, let's go through them. A is the same. However, it only makes a long and schwa sound, like in crater or material. We also use it for a short sound, as in cat, or literally ash. But I've used a letter for that sound only, and it's the vowel of ash. You might have seen this letter before. It's like an A and E fused together, and it kind of uses the short A sound. In my updated alphabet, ash is added in and used for a short A sound. And as you see from the chart, it's a different symbol. That's because this is, you can use either ash or this symbol. You know what this symbol is, right? This is an ampersand. That's the actual name of this symbol. Lots of us use it in text to use as, a shorter way of saying and, like when you're making something as a list, so like this, and this. So we could use that as a letter, and we can use it as a short A sound. And of course, I bet you didn't know this, ampersand was actually in the alphabet before it got dropped out. So this is really cool that we can use it again for a letter to represent a sound. So A makes a long and schwa sound. Again, a schwa sound is just like alphabet, material. It's also in America, United States of America, or Canada. So yeah, and ash or ampersand. I'm going to be using ampersand, but for short, I'm calling it and. We can use that as a short A sound. So like ash, of course, cat, bat. B is the same. Now we move on to this letter. What's this one? If you said C, you're correct and incorrect. Correct for regular English, but this letter is different in my update. C is literally just a second S and K, which doesn't really make sense to me. We could, however, use this letter for a sound that we use in words already. I'm talking about a CH sound, which makes a ch sound. Now, there are other languages that have a letter to represent this sound, so why don't we have one? Now, in my update, this letter is pronounced chi, and is used to replace CH in words like chair, choose, and spinach. We don't need an accent mark either, since it'll only be used to make the sound. D is the same, E is the same, F is the same. Now I know the consonant G has a hard and soft pronunciation, so like J and G. So we can add an accent mark to show which pronunciation to use in a word, but for me, I don't think it's that necessary, only if you need to. Wait, hang on. There's 2 H's? Yes, there is. This is H, and this is H. So the first H is always silent. So the first H is always silent and have no pronunciation in words. This letter could be seen in words like what, why, and whether. The second letter, H, is pronounced and makes an exhale sound. The accent mark indicates to make this sound. This letter can be used in words like hello, how, and behave. I is the same, J is the same, K is the same, L is the same, M is the same. Now wait, there's two N's? The first N is the exact same, so no worries about that. The second N with the hook underneath is called eng. This actually was a real letter in the English alphabet until it got dropped. It was used to replace the ng in words like talking and striking. I think we should bring this letter back since it also is useful for spelling. Besides, we do have that H and H duo earlier, so it's no surprise that I'll be adding the second duo. And it can also be used to replace the apostrophe, like in slang terms, so like talkin and walkin. We can just use eng, so you can either pronounce it or not, depending on what where you're from or like what the way you speak English. O is the same, P is the same. Right, what letter comes after P again? R. Wait, where's Q? That's right, in my updated English alphabet, Q is gone, and the YouTubers who made videos on redoing the alphabet are on the same page as what I think of this strange letter. What even is the point of Q? It literally makes a K or K sound. However, what apparently makes this letter different from K is that in words, there is a U after the Q. But why? Why do we need a letter that helps another letter to make a sound? Remember earlier I used the letter C to make a CH sound, which is now called chi. And later on there are letters that will do the same thing, where it's a two-letter combo to make a new sound. Anyway, I don't see the point of Q existing, so I'm dropping it out of the alphabet. As a way to replace Q, just use a K. It's literally going to make the same sound anyway. R is the same, S is the same. Now we have this interesting letter. Do you recognize this? You might have seen this letter in languages like Russian, Ukrainian, Bulgarian, Macedonian, etc. This letter is called sha or shu. It is in the Cyrillic alphabet and is used to make an sh sound or a sh sound. I figured it would be great if we have a letter so we don't have to literally do a two-letter combo to make a new sound. Additionally, we can use this letter, which is an S with an accent mark that is called a caron. This letter is used in the Czech language called she. Since most of the letters in the English alphabet end in E, we can call this letter she. T is the same. Now look, there's another additional letter. This letter is called thorn. It was an old English letter that made a TH sound, or th sound, until it got dropped. Have you ever seen those signs in those Wild West villages or whatever they're called? And they say something like, ye old shop? Well, the ye in that name is not pronounced ye, but pronounced the. So it's pronounced the old shop. Since the in English uses two letters to make the sound, how about we bring thorn back? And yes, I know it looks similar to a P, but I've written words with my updated English alphabet, and I was easily able to distinguish which one was P and thorn, just from carefully writing them in words. Oh, and by the way, I know there's another letter that makes a TH sound, which is called F. This letter is actually used in languages like Icelandic and Faroese, and was used as a sort of TH sound. I'm not going to include it in my updated alphabet because the capital form looks too similar to a capital D, and I don't think it's really necessary to have two letters that make similar sounds, even if one is harder and one is softer, despite you can't hear them much anyway. U is the same, V is the same. What is this? Okay, so this is obviously a made-up letter that I designed as a concept for W. The reason why I'm replacing W is, well, do you even pay attention to the name of it? W. Why do we have a letter that's literally a double form of another letter? It's just two U's or V's because U and V used to be the same letter one time due to the Romans not having a V sound. So the letters U and V both used to make an U sound. Anyways, this letter has more than one syllable, making it annoying to read web addresses www. There also didn't seem to be a letter from another alphabet that makes a what sound, or at least I couldn't find one other than the L in the Polish alphabet, like how RobWords explained in his video. I decided to design my own letter for W. I came up with its capital form being a cosine wave and a sine wave for its lowercase form. Originally, I called this new letter WUB since it looks like a wobble, but then it started to not sound right for me. But also, I realized something. In Old English, there was this letter called win. Although it looks similar to a P, we can borrow the name instead and have the letter be called win. We can even call web addresses a win-win-win, which sounds nice. Although the letter isn't perfect, I'm not annoyed with it, unlike Q, since W makes a new sound. So I think you can still call the letter W, and even use the same character if you like. For writing, I might use my win, however. X is the same despite having two sounds, but I'll keep it so. Y is tricky since it can be both a consonant and a vowel, but I'll keep it anyways. Now we have one more additional letter. This letter is also in the Cyrillic alphabet. This is called J or Ja, and is used to make a ZH or Zh sound. We don't have much, but there are words that have a ZH sound, like decision, pleasure, vision, measure, etc. This letter can easily help replace the wrong S in those words. We can call this letter for English G, since most of the letters end with E. Additionally, like the she letter earlier, we can use a Latin version of G, which is this character. It is a Z with a caret accent mark on top. This letter is used also in Czech, like the S with the caret. And finally, Z remains the same. So that is my updated English alphabet. Hope you enjoyed it. You can even try it out yourself. I'm also making a document that is a guide that teaches you how to use my updated alphabet. Now there is one more thing to do.
Now I know my name and feast. Next time, won't you sing with me? Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this new sort of video. Stay tuned for the next part where I explain what accent marks can be used in the English language and how they can be used. See ya, everyone.